You are listening to I Am Refocused Radio with your host, Shamaya Reed. This show is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. And now, here's your host, Shamaya Reed.
Hey, welcome to I Am Refocused Radio. We are here once again, and today we have another show lined up for y'all. Today, we're going to talk to Kylie Mort. She is a multi-award-winning author and app creator. She's doing amazing things. She has a book that we will talk about, Little People, Big Emotions. First and foremost, I want to welcome you, Kylie Mort, to the show and say how you doing.
Hey, Shamaya. Thanks for having me on.
So first and foremost, man, tell us a little bit about your book and what inspired you to write it.
Okay, so Little People, Big Emotions. It's not my first book, but it's definitely my first children's book. And it was very much one of those things that came about, not that it was planned, that it was just, I had an idea and thought, hey, I'll contact the publisher and see what she thinks. So I pretty much wrote it in a morning, and I was just sitting on my front porch meditating on, how I can work with my own children. This was during the pandemic. So many families, many parents were working with their own children, trying to, at the same time as work through all of the issues involved with the isolation and the scariness of what was going on in the world, trying to educate their children at the same time. And being from an educational background, I thought about the strategies I was using and how I could possibly share those strategies even wider with other people. And so I put it together, and it's been a big success.
And like you said, you do have background in being an educational teacher. You also do yoga teaching. You also are into the performance coach and focusing on holistic coaching. When you are helping people, what are some of the core ingredients of what you do to help add value to people's lives?
Mainly, I think that the word you use there with holistic coaching, I think that's really important. Coming from, I've got 20 years experience in schools, in the education of young people, and then building on top of that with, psychology and yoga and all of these kind of different avenues of looking at a person as a whole unique person, not just trying to fit them into a method of teaching or a predefined, this is what we are learning. So I think that talking about the fact that I'm a holistic coach, I really just try to tune into exactly what each particular individual that comes to me needs, whether that be academic, whether that be, mind, body, soul, however they're going to be their best person, and whatever challenges they're facing, whether they know it or not, we explore that and look at how we can help them to be their best selves and live their best life.
And you mentioned the word challenge, and a lot of people are facing challenges. We all have our personal battles. If you had a personal battle that you had to overcome, what was that, and how did that keep you motivated to do what you do today? Yeah, well, a lot of hindsight comes into it. I've written 3 main books. Really show the progression and the stepping stones I had from childhood trauma and abuse, which I talked a little bit about in the first book, Empowering Women, Empowering the World. And that was after I reached a point where I was actually looking back on that, which I'd repressed and ignored and shut out for so long, looking back on it with the hindsight going, oh, okay, I'm going to have to go there. I'm going to have to address it, face it, and accept it before I can move on. So that first book really focused on, what that challenge was and how it continues to affect me, that as long as we all have strategies that we know we can rely on when these challenges pop up, we're able to keep moving. And then the second book went into, obviously I've had a lot of business success between now and then. So the second book went into how, again, with the holistic coaching thing, if you explore yourself and know exactly who you are, and you're authentic and passionate about what you do, business success is just one of the things that comes of that. Because people can recognize that you have so much to give, and your experience validates that for you. And then, with the children's book, it's very much that's finding purpose at the end. That's really channeling into, these are the childhood experience that I want to protect other children from. These are the strategies that, as a professional, I use when I'm working with children. So, let's help to make the next generation a lot stronger in their mental resilience and their emotional intelligence, so they can be their best selves.
And you have also with Little People, Big Emotions book, you have a study guide that can also be another resource. Explain a little for our audience what that study guide will help with that book.
Yeah, because I being a teacher and being a literature major, I'm pretty obsessed with books. So obviously, whenever I read a book, I'm analysing it. My husband's always talking about the fact that I'm so frustrating to watch a movie with because I keep stopping it and analysing it. So obviously, when I wrote my book, I was looking at the literary devices I was using and the metaphors and the analogies and all of this kind of thing. And because I can't be with every family, helping them explore it that way, I thought, well, I need to write the study guide and give families, educators, guardians, those kind of people, the tools and equipment to work through what the book is trying to teach the young person, and share some questions, some activities and that kind of thing that really help the family engage and use that network of support and strengths to ensure that the young person is a mentally healthy, resilient, emotionally intelligent individual. And the study guide, I never planned to make money from it. I just really wanted to get it out there. So I've written it, I've attached it as a free document you can download from my website and that kind of thing, and just really encouraging people to, at least have a read through it and see what resonates with their family.
Once again, listen to I'm Focus Radio, talking to Kylie Mort. You can go to our website, KylieMort.com.au. And you also, I got to fit this one in, you also have a mobile app. It's all about writing. Can you tell us a little bit about your app, how to write with Kylie?
Yeah, well, with the app, I resigned from state education here in Australia back in 2009, and became a tutor because at that time I was looking at a lot of the children that were falling through the cracks of the education system, and I really wanted to support them. And then over my journey with the tuition company and employing other teachers to work with me and that kind of thing, I found that the way that I taught essay writing, narrative writing, that kind of thing really resonated with students, but it was the same process over and over again. I was teaching it daily, and I was like, well, how am I going to... I was literally talking to a friend, talking about how can I just download my brain and give it to people just to help them. And she said, why don't you just start with what you're best at? Just start with writing essays. So that's where the app journey started. And it was certainly a very challenging road to go from not knowing anything about apps to now having this app and writing new content for it all the time. But it's going really well. And obviously, having my fingers in so many pies and so many different fields, it's gone from just being about how to write an essay to journaling with self-reflection, to story writing for juniors, to, all kinds of comparative writing. So it's just, I'm trying to build an ever-growing library of resources and content so people can have the assistance they need that they may not be getting from their classroom or their teacher or their tutor, so they can just access that on their own in their own time.
And when you have all these resources and tools for people, man, sometimes fear can get in the way for people to become successful and to live their fullest potential. How have you overcome fear in various ways of you being an entrepreneur and you working on the app and hoping that it works. I mean, how have you overcome fear of just getting started and maintaining momentum?
Yeah, I definitely think that the overcoming fear is something that it's really unique to everybody. People often find it very surprising that my greatest fear is people. I suffer social anxiety, and I just love to be at home on my farm writing. So I think that's why I write so much. It's just me and the book. But you know, I think that the most important thing for anybody is when they identify what their fear is, you know, get the help you need to get the strategies to work on that fear. Because fear is healthy. Fear is good. Fear is, you know, spurring us on and giving us the energy to face, you know, this growth edge that we all have to go through on our journey. But if you've got the strategies in place where you know that you've got what it takes to keep going, you've got the network around you, possibly, you know, the books, the tools that you need. Living your best life definitely is living in purpose. I certainly believe that. And when we all find our purpose, it's definitely going to be, you know, in that energy of love. You know, the most powerful energy is love. So you need to radiate that love through loving what you do and loving where you are and loving who you're around. And the more you radiate that energy, the more that energy is going to come back to you. And it's often said that at the core of all emotion is either fear or love. So you need to work out which one's driving you, and have a good idea of how you can keep that journey going.
It's time Focus Radio talking to our guest today, Kylie Mort. And with the app and the resources, you also write for other publications. And people can go to your website, kyliemort.com.au. When you have those resources with your business entrepreneurship, you also support a good cause. If you could, can you share that, a little bit more information about that with the audience? Yes,
the ADHD, that's very, very close to my heart because my own daughter has inattentive ADHD. And so much of when I was writing the book, Little People, Big Emotions, I was thinking about the strategies that we use for her. And both of my children, they're 9 and 11, are both referenced in the book. But where for little Darcy, it makes life easier to go through and use these tools. For somebody suffering with this kind of diagnosis, it's very much a lifeline of how to get through each day. And I found that that connection with ADHD, especially in the pandemic when children were so overwhelmed and they had that anxiety running through the background of everything they were doing, just having the confidence to know that these are the routines that we're going through. These are the boundaries that have been set to help keep me safe, you know, emotionally as well, not just safe from the virus. So that kind of thing, why I continue to go to university still, and to continue with that psychological studies of science is that I really want to help people to, you know, recognize the diagnosis isn't saying that you can't do anything, that you can't be this or be that or go where you want to go. You just need to make sure that you can understand how your mind's working, understand how your mind is unique, and who can help you to get where you want to be.
If someone listening right now and they're listening to you and everything that you've been able to do with your books, with your app, being an entrepreneur, being your own boss, CEO, I mean, what would you say generally to someone who has started that journey of being an entrepreneur? What should they be practicing daily to stay focused on their short-term goals or long-term goals, being a business owner?
I think, yeah, definitely. And this is a lot of what I go through in chapter 1 of Back Yourself
is that your business idea, your passion, your niche has to be you. It has to be that thing that just drives you passionately. Again, with that energy of love, that vibration of the strongest vibration you can get. And if you don't know where to start, there are so many resources available nowadays, through, social networking, through books, through different, coaches and guidance you can get. But even before you start reaching outward to these kind of ideas, I think the most important thing on the inside, I once went on a retreat with Elizabeth Gilbert, the author, and she said that you only have room for 5 main priorities in life. So just work out what those 5 priorities are, and make sure that everything you do every day is directed towards one of those 5 priorities. And for every person, it's going to be unique. For every person, it's going to be different. But if you can focus only on those 5 priorities and strip away anything that's not serving you, because I think that so many people, they get bogged down in a mindset of negativity because they're overwhelmed by so many things that aren't actually serving them. I think that mindset is critical. And as long as you can practice your gratitude and your positive mindset every day, then that's going to be the baseline that's going to help you build.
Yeah, I think that is the foundation that allows us to build. And in order for us to go to the next level, we have to recognize where we are currently. Because
yes.
We can be kind of in denial, saying, "Oh, we're at this level," but in reality, we got a little bit more work to do.
Yeah, definitely. And there's that saying that fake it till you make it. But I think that it's more, you've got to believe that you're on the right path. There's that saying, every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. And that was a quote from a French psychologist from the turn of the century. But it's so true. And if people just focused on the fact that you can say these affirmations to yourself every day and still not get results, because you need to have the right energy attached to it. You need the right emotion attached to it. And as you say, if we're deluding ourselves as to where we are, we're not going to be able to attach the right energy to it. You need to say, this is me, and this is all of the positive and the goodness and the strength that I have right here, right now. And then focus on that to grow that.
There's two things I like we said earlier in the show about fear and love. And I like that because I agree. If you move towards love, you see opportunities. If you move towards fear, you limit your opportunities to where it can be too late if you don't act on it. So it's one of those tug war. That's what I'm trying to say. I said it backwards. Tug of war. You're either going to be allowing yourself to be pulled towards fear, or you're going to pull yourself towards love. And
we need to be authentic and honest with ourselves about what's driving us, because so often they can be so easily mismatched and disguised. We think we're doing something out of love, and it's like, no, it's out of love. I'm doing it for you. I'm doing it for us, and that kind of thing. But down underneath, if you really strip it back, there's a whole lot of fear under there. And I think a lot of the time people get into challenging situations because they feel like they're getting driven by one thing, but it's actually the opposite.
And that's some good stuff right there. Once again, talking to our guest today, Kylie Mort. You can go to her website, kyliemort.com.au. You can check out all her books and her articles that she's written for magazines. And she also has resources. Make sure you check out the book that we talked about earlier, Little People, Big Emotions. I want to say thank you for taking time in your schedule, Kylie, for being with us today on Avid Radio.
Thank you so much, Maya. It's been great chatting with you.